Hey guys, Wolf here. Gonna show you the bed that come off the 69, and then I'm gonna show you one of the mowers that I picked up from one of the small engine shops here in town I worked at. But first, pickup bed for the 69. As you can see, it is pretty bad. Now, I'm sure there are pickup beds that are a lot worse than this, but and I could probably fix this. I could, unbolt the bed, because as you can see, not unlike a Ford where everything's welded, Chevy's all bolted together. So Ford is, the bed is welded together, and Chevy, on the older trucks anyway, the beds are bolted together. So I mean, I could probably fix this, but flatbed on that truck's going to be a little bit easier for me to work with. Hello, Snickers. That's our yard cat, Snickers. She's a sweetheart. Yeah, Daddy loves you, Snickies. Yeah. Okay, down. No claws. There we go. Yeah, she loves her daddy. She's definitely a sweet girl. Now, this is a Ransom. Now, a lot of guys don't like these machines because they're long and it's the three-wheel design, and if you're not careful, it could possibly throw you off. But I actually picked this up for $150 at the mower shop I used to work for. It came in. The guy traded this and another machine in. The other machine was it was real bad. It wasn't worth trying to salvage. So, but the problem with this machine was everybody thought that the transaxle, because this is a hydrostatic machine, it's got a hydrostatic transaxle, and everybody thought that the pump was bad in it. Well, so I turned around, I paid $150 for it, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking, well, that's stupid. Why would you spend that much money on a machine that you can't get it, because you can't get the transaxles anymore? Why would you spend that money on on a machine that, you can't get parts for anymore? Well, I am of the opinion that a lot of these older machines can be salvaged. You might not be able to get a transaxle, but you might be able to find parts, aftermarket parts. So, I turned around, I jacked the machine up, I put it on jack stands, dropped the transaxle, and when I did, I noticed that the hydraulic filter the housing that the filter bolts on, that the filter screws on, the bolts holding that housing to the transaxle were loose. And then the filter had a hole in it. So I'm like, what the? So I turned around, I got another gasket, I cut another gasket out of nice thick gasket paper, and I used an X-Acto knife, because you can get those gaskets real close with an X-Acto knife. And then the holes, I just used my leather punches and, found one that was close and punched the holes in the gasket, and it looked identical to the old gasket. So, got two filters, went and flushed the tank and everything out. And I also found out, because on the deck of the machine, they had a 2-gallon jug of hydraulic oil. Well, this machine, the hydraulic system in it, the hydrostat tranny, uses 30-weight engine oil, not hydraulic oil. So, that was part of his problem. So between the filter housing being loose and the filter having a hole in it and a couple of other issues, that's, everybody thought the tranny was bad. So I was like, well, $150, it's not bad, So I turned around and put it all back together, and it works great. Only thing I got to do is put another battery in it and do a general tune-up, oil filter, plugs, air filter, all that good stuff, and then this machine will be back cutting grass again. Now, here's the old Yazoo. Now, that is not the original tank. The original 16 horse tank, just with the alcohol and fuel and everything, did it in. It had so many holes in it, and the tank was so thin at the bottom, there was no brazing and repairing the tank. So I was like, forget it. I had that gas tank kicking around here, so I put that on here. And believe it or not, it's rope start. You wrap a rope around the shiv there on the cooling fan, and 2 poles. She fires right off, runs pretty good. 48-inch deck. That is not the original deck. That actually come off an old Ferris that I had that the model had been discontinued, and that machine I could not find parts anywhere for it. So I saved the engine because that had a 12 horse Kohler Magnum on an old single cylinder Kohler, and save the deck. And when the original 48-inch deck just completely fell apart on this, I put this deck on it, and it actually cuts very well. The only problem with this machine is it uses left-hand cut blades. So I found blades for a 48 older 48 Simplicity will fit this. So but other than that, I mean, that and needing a seat, and I've got a seat ordered for it. So this machine, I actually do use both of these machines. My missus, when we're doing really big jobs, she'll run the Ransom, and then I run the old YR48 Yazoo Master Cut. 16 horse brakes, single cylinder cast iron block, very tough engine. Haven't had any problems out of it other than just, general tune-up and everything. So, but other than that, that's that stuff. Now, I do have, and I actually picked repair customer that I deal with that comes and has me do repair work on his trailers and his mowers. He's got a lawn service. He does houses. I do lots and abandoned houses, lots and fields on the side. I work for a street sweeping company here in town during the week at night. So, but my customer for $100 gave me this. I bought it. I paid $100 for it. It's a walker. The engine that was on it, I don't have the old engine here. I basically stripped the old engine for spare parts and junked the rest of it. Because one of his guys had ran it low on oil, and the engine got so hot that it actually snapped the timing. The teeth on the cam gear. It broke 4 or 5 teeth off of there. It broke 4 or 5 teeth off the crank gear, which you cannot replace. It's not like an older engine where you can just go ahead and replace the timing gear. You have to replace the whole crank. So the engine was pretty much junk. So I went ahead. And normally I do not suggest going on Craigslist for the simple fact that you can be scammed. The other issue with this machine was a lot of the bolts for these gearboxes were missing. So I had to retap the gearboxes. I retapped them a little bit bigger and then put bolts in there. With blue Loctite, because eventually if I do have to redo these gearboxes, get in there and replace gears or whatever, I'll have to get it apart. So with the blue Loctite, you can get them apart. Now there is covers, covers for that PTO shaft and gearboxes here, and I do have the covers, but I just want to get all that back together and make sure everything works before I go ahead and put the covers back on. I have used it to cut the yard, and it does a really nice job cutting. Now, I do have the air filter and the cover for this, so you guys don't